welcome back to the George Review. And Newcastle United's 2022-2023 Premier League fixtures have been released at 9 o'clock this morning. So I'm going to talk through them and give my thoughts on them, probably month by month. So starting with August, we've got a home game first, which is usually good. Nottingham Forest, it'll be their first Premier League game in 23 years, so they will be up for it. Of course, hopefully we'll have a good atmosphere, with it being the start of our first full season under this ownership. But Forest, maybe it's not a good time to play them. You know, new promoted side. We've seen last season Brentford beat Arsenal, Watford beat Aston Villa on the opening day. For ourselves, we've had in our first away game. So, you know, it's probably a good thing we're at home on this occasion. But, you know, we've been beaten off Huddersfield. We got embarrassed by Norwich. We drew against Cardiff when there were all games against new promoted sides. But those were away games. We're at home this time. Hopefully, though, we'll be able to get the win. But for once, this must be the first time in 15 years that the first game of the season is not on the telly, because Sky and BT have made their picks for the opening weekend of the season, and we are still 3 o'clock on the Saturday. Next up, we'll have Brighton Hove Albion away. Pretty good to get one of the longer trips of the season out the way and in the summer months. But then I think the one thing that's annoying us with the fixtures is the fact I'll have to miss Manchester City at home, just because I've got something on that weekend. No, my luck now, Haaland will beat them, and Dan Burn will pocket Haaland in that game. And it's even worse when we've got 2 consecutive away games after that against Wolves away. Of course, remember that fixture last season to be the last game of the Mike Ashley era. Then we've got Liverpool away in the midweek. I mean, we could be playing them whilst we're negotiating to try and sign a player on deadline day. But I do hope, because that Man City game, it cannot be the Monday night because of the Carabao Cup, obviously being the midweek afterwards. So I am hoping we get a home tie in the Carabao Cup second round, since I can't be at that Man City game. Anyway, moving on to September, because of, you know, the World Cup messing the schedules up, we actually play at home on the opening weekend of September for once, and we've got Crystal Palace at home on the 3rd of September. Then another long trip, we've got West Ham United away, and then Bournemouth at home. Eddie Howe and Callum Wilson, Ryan Fraser up against their old club. I would say Matt Ritchie, but he'll probably be out the door in the summer. On to October, so obviously after the September international break. I mean, I kind of wish we didn't have that now after watching England on Tuesday night. We've got Fulham away at the start of October, new promoted side, and then we've got another West London club just after that, Brentford at home on the 8th. October usually would be international break, but again, this is the World Cup being in Qatar's obviously messed things up. Then we've got Man United away on the 15th of October. Well, apparently the Europa League is in that midweek, so it will be the 16th of October. And then we've got a midweek home game against Everton on the 19th. Of course, we always seem to get Everton on a midweek, and it's one of the first of 2 games on Amazon Prime. Then we've got Tottenham away on 22nd of October, and then we end it with Aston Villa at home on the 29th. So on to November, we've only got a couple of games before the World Cup. Southampton away and Chelsea at home. Bit of deja vu from 2020, 2021. We played Southampton away under Steve Bruce. Oh, what a dreadful performance, losing 2-0 on the Friday night down there. Start of a pointless lockdown. But yeah, we've got them on the 5th of November, Guy Fawkes Day. And then the last game before the World Cup, Chelsea at home. We had Chelsea just after Southampton actually in that year. That was when I first called for Steve Bruce to go. And funny enough, we always seem to come up against someone who England are playing in the group stages in the World Cup just before the tournament. We had it was Luis Suarez as Liverpool in 2014. Eden Hazard and Chelsea in 2018. And Christian Pulisic and Chelsea again in 2022. Obviously after the World Cup, we'll get into December. We've got a quite long trip for Boxing Day. We'd never get a United away game in London or the South Coast on Boxing Day. It just wouldn't be right. Leicester City away, probably the longest trip we could have gotten. Well, maybe the West Midlands, but that's who we've got. Boxing Day. Well, the second game we've got on Amazon Prime. I'm just glad that it's one home game, one away game on Amazon Prime. And then to end the year, we've got Leeds United at home. It's currently on New Year's Day, but it might have to be switched to the 30th if the council aren't going to use COVID as an excuse to cancel the New Year's Eve fireworks. Because I remember in the Championship, I had Forest at home scheduled for New Year's Eve, but then that had to be switched to the Friday night in the Championship. So going into 2023, again we've got a long trip for the bank holiday, the New Year bank holiday. Arsenal away on the 2nd of January, and then obviously we're going to the FA Cup on that weekend. Then we've got Fulham at home on the 14th, and then Crystal Palace away on the 21st. So 3 London clubs in January, and then another London club to kick off February. We've got West Ham United at home, followed by Eddie Howe's return to Bournemouth when we play them away on the 11th of February. And then 2 consecutive home games against Liverpool and Brighton. Going into March, we've got that daunting trip away to Manchester City at the start of March. Then we've got Wolves at home, and then Nottingham Forest away. Of course, we don't have such a good record down at the City Ground, apart from we beat them in extra time in the Cup in the Carling Cup in 2011. 4-3, what a game that was, but had some nightmare games at the City Ground. That 2-1 game in the Championship, where it just felt like literally everything was against us. Like, if that was happening to you on, like, I think there'd be a lot of rage quits if that was happening on Ultimate Team, that game. And then going into April, after the international break, we've got Man United at home. Then a couple of away games against Brentford, and then against Aston Villa. And then the nearest home game to my birthday will be Tottenham on the 22nd, of course. And unlike last time we played Tottenham around my birthday at home, we won't be having to boycott the game, because I remember that boycott Spurs thing in 2015 when we were losing pretty much every game under John Carver. After that, Everton, you guessed it, we've got Everton in another midweek. Not quite a winter midweek as we often get them. It's obviously late April at Goodison Park, although it will be a cold night at St James's when we play them in a midweek then. Then 10th April we've got Southampton at home, and then we've got another home game going into May. So Arsenal at home on the 6th. Who knows, potentially a battle for Europa League spot if we get things right over the summer. Then we've got Leeds United away on the 13th of May. Got Leicester City in the last home game of the season. Again, I mean, you could argue a potential battle for a European place. And then to end the season, Chelsea away, which will be a tough one. Hopefully, we won't really have anything to play for in that game. Well, we could have Europe to play for, but hopefully we won't be needing a win going into that game. I'd have loved a home tie for the last game because the one time we've had one, I mean, we've had 4 years in a row we'd be at home on the final day, but now this will be the 5th year in a row. Well, this will be like one time in 5 seasons we've been at home on the final day, and that was the season where it was finished behind closed doors, and we lost against Liverpool. But it is what it is, really. You can't really do much about the fixtures. You just play teams when you play them. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of games moved for Sky, and probably even more so for us with the takeover. Hopefully be up at the right end of the table, and there'll be more games on the telly. Obviously throughout the season, you're going to get fans probably rightfully complaining about games getting switched at short notice, like being unable to plan for it, or we'll have an away game, such a long way to go, put on a Monday night. And it's all a bit of a joke, really. What the way fans get treated by the TV companies and by the Premier League. But yeah, let me know what you think of the fixtures. You happy with them? Are you a bit disappointed with them? And thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to my channel, check out my social media pages in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.